compassionate. There is no compassion in falsehood that is contrary to the truth of Yahuwah. If I'm going contrary to truth, then there is no compassion. I'm going to continue to get beaten up because I refuse to accept what reality actually is. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Let's consider Jeremiah 18, just for giggles. Jeremiah 18, it's in their book. Jeremiah 18, 4 and 6. Jeremiah 18, 4 and 6. Jeremiah 18, 4 and 6. Okay. Well, 3. So I went down into the potter's house, and I saw him doing a piece of work on the wheel. And the vessel that he made of clay was ruined in the hand of the potter, so he remade it into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to do. O house of Israel, am I not able to do with you as the potter, declares Yahuwah. Look, as the clay is in the hand of the potter, so you are in my hand, O house of Israel. But what if the clay refuses to be repaired? Okay? This takes us back to Bereshis. What are we? We're a person made out of clay. We're a physical being that has the Spirit blown into us that makes us a living soul. But what if the piece of clay rejects the idea of the soul and misuses the Spirit? Well, it's a piece of clay that's marred in the hand of the potter. The potter's going to discard it. He misses out on Matthew 26:6, which, if we read it correctly, is going to say, and Yahusha was in Bethania, in Bethany, at the house of Simon the potter. Yahusha is found in the house of the potter. The redemption, deliverance, restoration, healing, and rest that comes from Yahuwah Elohim is found in the house of the potter. But if I refuse to be a piece of clay that finds my way to the house of the potter, well, now, with those 30 pieces of silver that purchased a field instead of purchasing redemption, listen to what it says. They took counsel and they bought with him a potter's field to bury strangers in. Who's a stranger? Someone who doesn't have a relationship with Yahuwah Elohim. A marred piece of clay that cannot be fixed. If I follow in line with Judas Iscariot, and I allow myself to be carnally minded to the point where nothing spiritual is important to me, or I allow myself to be carnally minded to the point where I neglect my relationship with my Elohim, then I could very well end up at the end of the rope. And I could very well end up reprobate. So, the final thought to take away from this lesson is contained in the words of Yahusha at Matthew 7:21-23. Considering what we've just looked at, listen to this. Not everyone that says to me, my master, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me, my master, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have we cast out devils? And in your name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. I can be Judas Iscariot and carry the money bag and pretend, like he says when in this thing in Matthew as well, 26:7, a woman came to him having an alabaster flask of costly perfume. She poured it on his head as she sat at the table. And his Talmudim saw it, and they were much displeased, saying, to what purpose is this waste? This perfume could have been sold for much and given to the poor. We could have given that to the poor. It was given to Yahusha. It was given in the service of the redemption, deliverance, and restoration of Yahuwah. But my carnal mind sees it as a waste because I could have given it to the poor. Look at me, I'm all that in a bag of potato chips, but I'm only going to give like a nickel for every dollar that I get. That's what a lot of these organizations, you give us money, we're going to feed the hungry. And the CEO of the organization is making like, $30 million, and the hungry are getting like $100,000 a year. Okay? Okay. So the answer to my student's question was no. Judas Iscariot had nothing to do with paying for our redemption. On the contrary, he's the illustration of how we can very easily lose it, having a form of reverence with no foundation beneath it. Therefore, there is no better question to ask at the end of this lesson than the very first question in the Torah. Where are you? What is your relationship with your Elohim? Where are you on your journey and in your walk? It takes us back to the beginning. He washed their feet, but one of them's not clean. He washed my feet. What part of me needs to be re-washed? That I miss under the toes? Between the toes, you don't ever get that good stuff in there. You got to have that because there's something to play with while you're watching TV. Anyway, with that we can say that grooviness has been achieved, and we'll come up with the marring, horrible, scary question